Hello, this is QM, short for Quentin McLeod. I'd like to discuss the Ubisoft scaling back support on the Wii U. Um, Essentially, what's happening is during Ubisoft's press conference, they mentioned that well, at least their host mentioned that it appears as though third parties are abandoning the Wii U, which does appear to be that way, but word has it that Ubisoft had decided to scale back support of the Wii U during I believe it was a developer press conference they had. So, Ubisoft said they were going to scale back support, and a lot of people believe that's due to the fact that, well, I wouldn't say a lot of people. I'd say Ubisoft in particular says that because the Wii U isn't selling a whole lot, doesn't have a large user base, they're simply just waiting until the Wii U garners more users. But I don't really think that's the case, and I've discussed this before. I believe what's going on is that Ubisoft is scaling back support due to publisher reasons. Now, let me give you an example. Ubisoft said they're scaling back support for the Wii U, but they're not scaling back support for the Vita. Now, as you know, the Wii U is selling more than the Vita. The Vita is pretty much a dead portable right now. It's not really getting a lot of sales, and it doesn't appear as though Sony is really paying much attention to it. Sony very rarely ever said anything during E3 about the Vita, outside of the fact that you could use remote play with the Vita on the PS4. But as far as games and other news in regards to its support of the Vita, there is nothing. Yet, Ubisoft has not denounced the Vita. They haven't said that they were going to stop support for it. They didn't say they were going to scale support for it. As a matter of fact, they are still making exclusive titles for the Vita. So, if Ubisoft, if they honestly believe, or want us to believe, that they're not supporting the Wii U based off of the number of users it has or the amount of sales it's getting, then they must play us for fools, because that's obviously not the case. What I believe is that the reason why Ubisoft said this is because of what I said earlier, publisher reasons. Those publishing or publisher reasons being that the Wii U isn't supporting the draconian DRM that the PS4 could possibly be supporting, we don't know yet, and the Xbox One. And we all know about the DRM on the Xbox One. We all know about that. Sony came out and said that they aren't going to have draconian DRM policies on the PS4. Now, just to give you some insight on Sony, I'm not going to stray off topic. I'm just going to give you some background. Sony, during their press conferences, are known to bend the truth. They'll say that their system supports over a teraflop of processing power, then deliver a system that's not able to do so. They will show off tech demos that look like technical wonders, but then the console's not able to pull off those technical wonders. They'll say, oh, the system's going to do this, the system's going to do that, and when it comes out, it can't do those things. Sony has done this multiple times before. So, with their latest PR stunt, where they're saying that, oh, the PS4 doesn't allow or doesn't restrict you from selling or lending out your games, they kind of snuck in there that, oh yeah, you have to be online to get to the multiplayer options. Of course, that seems okay. I mean, if the multiplayer options go online, but the one thing about that is you need a PS Plus account, PSN Plus, which you have to pay, kind of like Xbox Live. So you have to pay for multiplayer on the PS4. They wanted to sneak that in there. So, well, they snuck that in there, and I'm not really too surprised. However, with that latest rumor from EdgeOnline.com, where they said that this is just a PR stunt, that Sony really do plan on restricting used games. We'll see. Sony's notorious for doing things like this. So, back to the point. Ubisoft went to Nintendo, just like other publishers, and this is what I believe. They wanted similar DRM restrictions on the Wii U, in which Nintendo declined. And I believe that after Nintendo declined this is when other publishers dropped off, which will also explain why Ubisoft suddenly wants to drop or scale back support, because Nintendo doesn't want to go in this direction. Now, Ubisoft did not say they wanted to do this for the Vita. Well, of course not. The Vita is on its deathbed, but yet they still are going to support it. Meanwhile, the Wii U is backed up by a really strong first-party developer, and they want to scale back support for that. It's very silly. So, my opinions on this is that, well, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. And it's really all about money. Ubisoft wants money. Just like any other publisher out there, they're not really they're not in the industry for the gamer. They're not really looking out for people who want to just have fun. They're really looking out for their bottom line, how well they can line up their pockets. And Ubisoft is not any different than any of these other publishers. And I understand that they're a business, they have to make money, but that is their main focus. Nintendo is a business too, but making money is simply a means to an end. But their real philosophy is to put smiles upon the faces of their consumer base. They want to make fun games. That's part of their philosophy. These other publishers don't care about that. They don't care about how much fun you're having with their games, because next year they're going to come out with a sequel, and then the year after that they're going to come out with another sequel, because it's not about how much fun you're having, it's about how much money they're making. In one generation, we have already seen 3 Uncharted games. I don't really need to count the sports games, because one sports game comes out every year. So we really don't need to count that. We've got 3 Dead Spaces from EA. We've got 3 Crysis games in one generation. We've gotten a ton of Halo games. I mean, you're looking at, what was it, Halo, I was going to say Halo ODST, Halo 3, Halo 4, and there are a few other Halo games that are out there. We've got a ton of Halo games in one generation. We've got a ton of Forza Motorsports games in one generation. A ton of Assassin's Creed games. I mean, last year we had Assassin's Creed 3, and this year we're getting Assassin's Creed 4. It hasn't even been a full year before the 4th one was already announced, or I should say leaked. It hadn't been a whole year yet, and we're getting a sequel to that game. I mean, these publishers don't care about how much fun you're having. These games get milked. Now, a lot of people like to say, well, Nintendo milks their franchises. The reality is they don't. I mean, let's take a look at Zelda. Zelda comes out once every 4 to 5 years. We don't get a new Zelda every year. We don't get a new 3D Mario every year. We don't get a new Mario Kart every year. Or a Metroid game, or a Star Fox game, or even an F-Zero. These are Nintendo's top franchises. Yet we don't see these games often. They're very rare. The last F-Zero game, not counting the one in the Nintendo land, was F-Zero GX. That game was released on the GameCube. This was before the Wii. And the Wii has been out for 6 years. So we haven't seen an F-Zero game for nearly a decade. A decade. We haven't seen a Star Fox game since the one Namco made for the GameCube, which, once again, nearly a decade. The last 3D Mario was Mario Galaxy 2, and that has been 3-4 years ago. So here are all the games that Nintendo is known to make with their franchises, and we don't see them as often. We just don't. And people like to say, oh, Nintendo milks their franchises. They don't. They simply don't. But with other publishers, we see a new sequel every year. Every year. So that's what I wanted to say. Ubisoft scaling back support for the Wii U because Nintendo doesn't want to set up draconian DRM on their system. It's the best way to describe it. Because any other reason wouldn't make any sense. They support the Vita, and the Vita is on its deathbed. That's pretty much